It is going to be a presentation. The presentation will last about half an hour. And I'm going to tell you more about the collective, a bit about me and the collective's relationship to artist online presence and archiving, or AOPA, what the collective can do for you and for artists. We'll describe the type of work the collective members do with their artist clients. I'll give you a kind of an overview of one of the clients I'm working with, and we will see where we might go from here. There will be time to exchange in the second half. The objective is to wrap all this up in an hour. Maya, who you see there, is a recent graduate from Concordia's master's program in art history, and she is my very trusted assistant, and she'll be managing your questions in the chat if you want to use that. And if you have a really urgent question, feel free to turn on your microphone and wave your hand and intervene. So we hope that you will find something of interest here today. So what is the Catalogue Raisonné Collective? So I'm going to give you an overview, and then we'll go into detail about a lot of this stuff. So the Catalogue Raisonné Collective is a growing network of independent art critics, curators, and historians. It's dedicated to producing professional archives, online retrospectives, and Catalogue Raisonné for mid to late career artists. The collective is built on the experience and methodologies developed by Artist Online Presence and Archive, and it supports members with specialized research tools, collaborative workflows, marketing, promotion, and client acquisition. Members work directly with artists on dedicated long-term Catalogue Raisonné projects, and these involve in-depth research, writing, and curating. And in the process, one of the wonderful things about this kind of work is that the dedicated curator, which is the name that we use for the person working with the artist, you develop a high level of expertise on the artist's oeuvre. Most projects span 1 year and generate around $10,000 in revenue for the Catalogue Raisonné Collective member. All right, so why do we need a Catalogue Raisonné Collective? So we've been living through an unprecedented expansion of artistic production over the past 60 years. According to a 2019 publication put out by the Canada Council, Canadian Heritage, and the Ontario Arts Council, entitled A Statistical Profile of Artists in Canada in 2016, there were 11,000 professional visual artists in Canada over the age of 45. That was in 2016. So 10 years later, we can imagine that there is something of that number left who are over the age of 55. So the problem is that much of this history from last century and into ours is at risk of being lost, fragmented, or becoming inaccessible. The work of the collective preserves these artistic legacies, makes artists more visible and researchable, supports future research, writing, exhibitions, and collecting. In short, it contributes to creating a Canadian art history from the second half of the last century and into our time. And as you can see from the image there, hopefully it keeps the work of many artists out of the dumpster. At the same time, it addresses the problem that many independent critics, curators, and art historians have, which is that we're under-supported, working from project to project, and looking for additional ways to sustain meaningful and rigorous work. So the mission of the Catalogue Raisonné Collective is to ensure that the vitality and diversity of artistic expression in our time is rigorously documented and archived for future generations, one artist at a time. The values of the collective are excellence. So we want to deliver the highest quality services. We respect, we always want to honor the vision and work of each artist we work with. Collaboration, artists are considered collaborators in the services that we deliver. Satisfaction is of utmost importance, ensuring that the artists are fully satisfied with the services received. Sustainability, this is our commitment to preserving artists' work as part of our cultural heritage. And this value goes right down to the platform that we're using and where it's going to be on the servers. And continuous improvement, providing artists with the best possible services through ongoing refinements of tools and methods. All right, so a little bit of background on who I am. I worked as an independent critic and curator after graduating with a BFA from the University of Manitoba and Nova Scotia College of Art and Design, and later with a master's from UQAM in art theory. After 10 years of freelance art writing and curating, I was finding it a bit difficult to make a living. And with a baby coming and the internet just taking off, I had the opportunity to get into web development, and I took it. So as a web developer, I worked, well, first I'll say is that the kind of the smarts that I developed as an art critic segued quite well into web development, because you're always dealing with these kind of complex information systems that are nonlinear. So I nonetheless tried to keep my client base to cultural institutions and research groups. I worked, among others, for the National Film Board. And on the side, I did about a dozen websites for artists. So 6 years ago, I decided to focus exclusively on working with artists. So what this involved was the founding in 2020 of Artists Online Presence and Archiving. And it also included taking 2 courses in entrepreneurship. So I went from being an art critic with a new hat as an entrepreneur. From the beginning, a key element was putting my decades of lessons learned into a custom high-performance web-based content management system for archiving and preserving visual art. And for the past 3 years, I've been working with a small team, and I financed and developed AOPA, the AOPA retrospective platform, which I'll show you briefly later. And we've begun using version 1.0 of that platform with artists. So what happened, though, is I had this great platform, and but my capacity to work with clients was very limited. So I can basically work with 2 clients per year with all my other commitments. So I felt that it now was the time to bring more people in, and the Catalogue Raisonné Collective was founded. So just to be transparent, what is the relationship between AOPA and the collective? So AOPA is a for-profit business. It is responsible for the development and maintenance of the retrospective platform. It's for-profit because development costs are very, very high. And I want to be able to continue to add functionality to the platform. So the way that I imagine that it's going to work is that each client will be charged a one-time fee for use of the platform. That has to do with avoiding this subscription model, which keeps the artist dependent on, so they pay a one-time fee. For the Catalogue Raisonné Collective, where the idea is to use a nonprofit structure, the collective is a team of dedicated curators who are independent, that benefit from the organizational structure that the collective will offer. Billing could be done by the collective or individually. This was to be determined, among many other things. One thing that is good with this is with a nonprofit status, it opens up funding opportunities to build the organizational structure, so to finance an organizational structure. Okay, so what does the Catalogue Raisonné do for independent critics, curators, and art historians? Well, it extends your practice. It helps you stay independent. It's a way for you to apply your expertise and provides you with another source of revenue. The collective will offer us an administrative support. So for example, a framework for estimates, sample contracts, systems for time tracking and billing. It will also provide marketing and sales support. So the idea is that the collective will go to art fairs, symposiums, have a presence on social media, can go into universities and negotiate with the university or a private gallery to do a bunch of Catalogue Raisonné for their professors or their artists. It's also an opportunity for peer exchange and collaboration, so we could have monthly meetings to share lessons learned and get help with any difficulties we run into. The success of the collective is dependent on its viability. So here are the three things that must be in place. So one is a demand. There must be a demand for the collective services. There must be artists who are willing and able to pay for these services, and enough independent art writers to respond to that demand. So that's the adventure we're starting now. It's a big dream, one that has a good chance of succeeding, I think. So let's look at these one at a time. So a demand for services. So as I mentioned, the study, there are 11,000 professional visual artists in Canada over the age of 55. So we know that there are artists out there. Now, the capacity of art institutions to give an artist's life work the attention it needs, as we know, is completely inadequate. So they can't turn to the institutions to do it, for the most part. And consequently, it falls upon each artist to ensure their own legacy. Creating a Catalogue Raisonné is the foundation for this, and a retrospective website provides points of entry into their work. Furthermore, I already have artists and galleries who have shown their interest in using our services when they will come available. Okay, the second point. So are artists willing to pay for our services? The cost of an archive, Catalogue Raisonné, and online retrospective is from $9,000 to $15,000. This cost might seem high to artists at first because, well, a DIY website can be made for a few $100s. But the website, in our case, is really secondary to the research work. The real value is in the archiving and curating that collective members provide. So for the artists, there's high value in seeing their work assembled, organized, and presented. And I've been working with artists for a while, and this is very satisfying work for me, but also for them to see. So they receive support and accompaniment of the dedicated curator through the arduous process of creating their archive, taking everything and putting it all in one place, properly documented. In the end, they have a professional online presence that they can be proud of, satisfaction of having a detailed overview of what they've accomplished in their career, as well as the peace of mind of beginning their legacy work. When you come down to it, the cost of creating a Catalogue Raisonné is comparable to that of a modest bathroom renovation. And for those who really do not have the funds, can apply for grants. All right, we've taken care of that. So what's the last point? The last point is we need enough members to be able to respond to the demand. So you will tell us today if there's an interest in doing this work. The plan is to start small and build from there. All right, so 15 minutes in, we're doing good. What does the dedicated curator's work with artists look like? So if you became a dedicated curator, what would your work look like? So I am going to give you a kind of condensed case study of a project that I'm working on right now with artist Gordon Payne. He's a BC artist who was part of the avant-garde scene in Vancouver during the 1960s and has continued to produce art since, with a hiatus here and there. He was referred to me by Janice Rand. She is an artist who also lives on Hornby Island. That's where Gordon lives presently. The first meeting we had with him, he was really, really not on board. He sat way at the back of the room during our video call, and he grumbled, saying that this web stuff was a bunch of BS. But Janice really encouraged him to start the work. And his son was also interested in having his work properly archived. So I came back to Montreal and began by, the first thing that we do when we start is to create a list of artworks. So this Gordon's son had a FileMaker database that had been started. And so we imported that directly into the platform, which allowed us to create the artwork posts automatically. I also made contact with Emma Walter, who's Gordon's assistant on location. She's in his studio once or twice a week. She has a BFA in ceramics from Emily Carr, a master's in publishing from Simon Fraser, has been involved in publishing and working as an independent program coordinator at Hornby Island Arts Council. So she has the credentials that we need. So her and I created a spreadsheet in Google Drive to keep track of what was photographed and to add information about the artworks. I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to show you. Oops, no, I'm not supposed to stop sharing my screen. I'm supposed to stop sharing. Okay, hang on. Where are you? Okay, so this is the, we always try and have a kind of non-tech side of something outside of the database. So this is the list of the artworks that we created.
Just as a heads up, if the text is a little small, you can also make the screen full screen as people in the call. Just, it's more important now if you want to see what's actually on there.
So what we have in here is the, we created IDs for, specific IDs for Gordon's work. We have folders that are on Dropbox, the artist title, the date the work is photographed. These are the ones I got from Gordon's son. And when we get down to here, we have the photograph numbers, when it was entered in the platform, the year completed, year started, width and height, medium, and these, because Gordon is still working in his studio, if Emma needs some information, she can go directly to him. So her son had photographed some of the works, and so I brought those into the system. This is the retrospective platform. So we have a media library here with all of the images that we have of the work. There's currently 905 items in the media library. We have information about the artists, about artworks. Currently, there are 371 artworks. There's series, exhibitions information, publications, grants and prizes, funding agencies, collections, beneficiaries, and locations. So the photos would go in here. And since then, Emma has been photographing the more recent works. Can you see this, Maya?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens is that Maya will send me the raw photos and I will make them into JPEGs, and I'll create details to kind of give us a better idea of what the physicality of the work is and how it can be seen from different distances. She also photographs the back of the work. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would add a new artwork just to kind of show you how so what I would do is, here we go. So this is the one here. So what I go here to check out is what year it was, what the dimensions are, and what the medium is. So artist is Gordon Payne. Year completed was 2026, recent work. If there's a year span, we can put it here. If the date is circa, we can put that. There's different kinds of measurements that are possible. In this case, it's material. So I think it was 22.5 by 22. Is that it? No, 23 by 18.71. Oops. And we would add the medium here. There's a number of other fields down here, but we'll skip those for now. In the media section, we add media. So I've already uploaded the images of that work to the media library. And because, whoops. And because the names of the files, when we name files, there's a fairly strict naming convention for everything that goes into the system. In this case, we put the artist's name, the year, and the title of the work. So one of the advantages of that is that when we are looking for them here or wherever that we have. So that's the images that are added. Then we can connect the artwork to exhibitions. So the exhibitions are entered here and we connect them here. So if we know that this artwork has been in these two exhibitions, we can add that there. If we know that the artwork has been mentioned in publications, then we add that there. In the sales and in the authenticity section, we can add our ID. We can say whether the work is inscribed with that ID, dated, and signed. We have the option of hiding or showing if the work is signed and dated. We can add here to this gallery images. In this case, we'll add the image of the back of the work. There are different what are called taxonomies. In this case, this is the art forms. We'll call this mixed media and genre. So this work is semi-abstract. There's other stuff here, but I'm looking at my time and I'll kind of skip over that. One thing that I would mention is ephemera. So ephemera is anything that is connected to the work but isn't necessarily an image of it. We also have this in exhibitions. So say we have, I don't know, artist making the work, and then we can add images of that. Whoops, and maybe that's it. All right, and then we publish this. Whoops, what's missing? And then we publish it. And this is what the front end will look like. So we have the image of the artwork. We have details. We can zoom in and out of those. We have all the metadata for the work here. So we repeat the artist's name here because then someone can simply copy and paste this, the basic information. Type of artwork is here. The exhibition history. So we connected these exhibitions. So now we can go see, we'll see where this exhibition is. So we know where the work was exhibited, and we can go and get all of the information on that exhibition. Here are the publications that are related to it. Here's the ephemera. So click on this and you get to see that. This is the private information. So we have authenticity and the authenticity information and the image that we put in there. Just quickly show you that once the artwork is put into one of the art forms or genre or theme galleries, then they appear automatically here. We can see all of these works as a slideshow. Right. All right, so that's, I think, all I wanted to show you there. Okay, now I'm going to switch back over to this. Good. All right. So the other things we've done with Gordon is I've taken a trip to ArtText to find and scan publications. I like there to be full text version of every publication that we have in the archive. I've contacted institutions with Gordon's works in their collection, and I'm gathering information and documentation from them. Gordon is writing on his work, and Emma is working with him on that. So from there, we're going to pull out the themes that are going to be the main galleries of the retrospective. Emma's curating an exhibition of his works this fall in the Hornby Island Art Center, so we're hoping to launch the site then. And I can safely say that now Gordon feels comfortable with me. He's much less grumpy, and but he does remain ambivalent about why we would be interested in having a presence, in him having a presence on the web. He's slowly warming up to that and he concedes that a comprehensive catalog of his work is valuable for scholarly investigation, potential curators, etc. There is a curator in Calgary who has already heard about the Catalogue Raisonné and is interested in doing some kind of an exhibition with his work. And this has happened with other clients that I've had too. So what are the next steps? We are working on AOPA retrospective platform version 1.1. It's currently in development. We are adding things like there's some fixes to the database that we're wrong in the initial version, adding templates for publications. We want to allow artworks to be in multiple exhibitions. There's a bunch of other small things and improvements in performance and functionality. So we anticipate finishing 1.1 in the fall. Then in the interim, we're starting to connect with people like yourselves to gather interest. What we want to do is to progressively bring members on to work as dedicated curators with artists, and to have people as well to help us define the structure of the collective. So there's another form to fill out to apply to be part of the collective. Maya will put the link in the chat, and we'll also send it out to you by email. And this, I think we'll probably send a link to the video documentation as well. For those who didn't receive an email to attend today's meeting, please put your name and email address in the chat so we can add you to the mailing list. So there'll be some kind of a vetting process for members to be determined, and there will be training sessions to familiarize you with the retrospective platform and the working methods that we've found to be successful. So when 1.1 is ready, we'll start soliciting clients, and then we'll connect members with artists to start work on their Catalogue Raisonné. All right, so I will stop sharing the screen. And